And we are live. What's going on? Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and now LinkedIn Live. It's your boy, Billy Rowe. I'd like to welcome you to the first row. Today is Wednesday. And if it is Wednesday, you should know what that means already. It's time for the Wednesday word. That's Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it, tonight's topic is there's always more. As always, I like to start out with what I mean by my topics. What do I mean by the topic? There's always more. Well, the topic there's always more really is about how we go through processes in life. And when we arrive at the top of the process or at the end of that particular process, there's always something else. There's always something more that's after that process, whether that's more demand, more necessary energy to pour in, more necessary money to pour in, more growth, or just more of everything. There's always something more after the process. So tonight on the first row, I have 3 tools for you for the first row that are going to talk about how I handle the fact that there's always more after every process. Thank you guys for tuning in live. Let's get straight into it. So the very first tool that I came up with when it comes to the topic of there's always more is that we cannot see until we arrive. So what do I mean by we cannot see until we arrive? We can't, if we're in a valley, let's say, and we're going to go up to the top of this mountain. We're going east. It doesn't matter which direction, but we're headed east. And we climb to the top of this mountain. We don't know what's on the other side of the mountain until we get to the top of the mountain. Even if you have a map, even if somebody's giving you directions, until you get to the top of that mountain for yourself, you don't know what's at the top of that mountain or what's on the other side of that mountain. And so the importance about this tool and why I felt like this was the very first tool to introduce in regards to this topic is because a lot of times we will overthink and we'll overanalyze what we perceive or overimagine. I don't even want to use analyze. We'll overimagine what is on the opposite side of that mountain. And as a result, what happens is we spend a lot of time on the wrong side of the mountain and spend a lot of time not going up the mountain itself to get the actual vantage point we need to see what's on the other side of it. And so because once we learn how to accept that we cannot see until we arrive, we can be a little more intentional about the now, the present, the task at hand. And what that allows you to do is now instead of being like, oh, on the other side, I wonder if there's water. On the other side, I wonder if there's opportunity. On the other side of this particular job that I'm taking, I wonder if there's going to be retirement. Instead of worrying about those things, you're able to focus on now. And what focusing on now does is it empowers you to make changes. I wonder if I, even on this side of the mountain, want to go up that particular mountain. Maybe the mountain I want to go up over is over there. And so I can change my direction now instead of waiting until I get to the top to see what's on the other side. But accepting that you can't see what's on the other side until you arrive is very, very, it's very liberating to a process or to a long journey, because a lot of times what happens is our life journeys are not these short, they're not short journeys, they're pretty long journeys. And so because the journey is long, because it's going to be laborious, you realizing that, hey, it's going to take some time to get there. Being focused on the now allows you to make the shifts and the pivots that you want to make in order to change that journey or reinvent that journey or redefine that journey. I think redefine is the word I want to use. So that's why that's the first tool. The other thing is again, the view is not going to appear until you're at the top. I mean, yeah, I guess you can drill a hole through the mountain, but by the time you get done drilling the hole through the mountain, you could have probably just walked to the top of the mountain. And that's in any area of life. When it comes to, I'm very big on like fatherhood and being a parent. When it comes to being a parent, there's so many things that you worry about, whether your kid's going to get, whether they're going to be successful, whether they're going to take care of themselves, whether the grades that they have right now are a reflection of the type of adult they're going to be later on in life. There's so many things that come with that. And when you're able to accept that you cannot see until you arrive, when you're able to accept that as a parent, some of that pressure is taken off of you. Then you're able to just focus on, hey, I'm going to do the best that I can do with the resources that I have to raise the best human that I could possibly raise. When we arrive at the top, we'll see what that produces, But at the end of the day, these choices are your child's to make. They're a child right now. They're making choices, and honestly, their choices are theirs to make as a child. But even when they become an adult, regardless of what you've poured into them, regardless of what you projected or imagined on the other side of that journey for them into adulthood, their choices are theirs to make. So that's the very first tool. And there's some other things about it that really that kind of jumped out to me, but I think I'm going to leave it there because the parenthood aspect really resonates with me on getting a child from childhood to adulthood. And really, it doesn't matter whether you apply it to children, work, your passion, your love life, or whatever it may be. A lot of the things that you are imagining or concerned about that are on this side of the mountain that you can't see, those are out of your control until you get to the top of the mountain to see them. And then you can start to interact with how you want to handle those things. So that's tool number one. We cannot see until we arrive. The second tool, when it comes to there's always more, is expect abundance. And I love this tool because it's actually a twofold tool. The first abundance that you can expect is that there's going to be an abundance of demand, that no matter how great your plans are, no matter what you've laid out in front of you and how amazing everybody thinks it is, there's going to be an unexpected abundance of demand. That demand may require grit. That demand may require energy. That demand may require heart, passion, relationships. But there's going to be an unexpected abundance of demand placed on your time. But the other fold, the other side of that coin is, though there's this unexpected abundance of demand, there's also this unexpected abundance of resources. And that's where, for me, like, even just like accepting that life in and of itself is abundantly rich, the relationships that we have, the tools that we have, even in today's world. Like, I think about the tools that I had when I was a kid that were not the greatest tools as far as, I mean, just from a technology standpoint. We were paper, pen, pencil, eraser, maybe a solar powered calculator, but we didn't have the tools that we have today. And as we go further into the future, there's going to be more tools available to us, more likely than there would be less tools available to us. So that's the other side of that coin, is that there's an abundance of demand. And some of that is challenging. I'm not going to make light of that demand that's abundant, but also there's an abundance of resources that are available to help you become more efficient, to help you become more productive, to help you become more agile to adapting to the situations that life may throw at you. The other aspect of the fact that you can expect abundancy is, by expecting it, it keeps you from being overwhelmed at the end, when you feel like, you're at the end of the race. Dang, I'm on the final lap. Great. I ran through the finish line. Wait, what do you mean tomorrow is practice? What do you mean tomorrow is I got to review tape to see what I've done wrong, or to see what I can improve? What do you mean? Because you can expect abundance, you already know that at the end of one process is the absolute beginning of the next process. And then again, I think the only thing that I would say that doesn't resonate with me, at least on the acceptance of abundance, is the fact that the only thing, and I mean, I don't say only very often, but to me, the only thing that is not abundant that we have is our time, because our life is finite. We only have so much time that we're going to be allotted on this planet in this particular form. And once that time's up, that time's up. If there's no abundant keep going. Now, humans are living longer than they were living back in the day because of medical advancements and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, there's some finite energy on that clock. And at some point, the clock is going to say, hey, time's up. Other than that, expect abundance. So don't waste your time, because you don't have a whole lot of time. Even if you're here for 100 years, think about it. We're in the year 2022. That's 2022 years. 100 years is not a lot compared to that. So your time is finite. Don't waste it. But in every area, whether it's going to be the demands that come at the end of the journey, at the end of the journey, in the beginning of the next journey, or the resources that you're at the end of the journey, going into the beginning of the next journey, expect abundance and lean heavily on that abundance. And then the last thing that we have, or the last tool that I have, is we have more to give than we know. And I always liken this to being in the gym. When you're lifting weights, it doesn't matter if the weights are 5 pound weights, if the weights are 100 pound weights. At some point, your body starts to feel fatigue. And when your body starts feeling fatigue, if you're doing bicep curls and bicep curls and bicep curls, at some point when your body says, hey, I'm getting tired, a lot of us say, ooh, it's starting to burn, I'm done. And we stop. But really, if we choose not to stop, even in that burn, even when it's getting difficult, um, what happens is we find that we can actually do 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 10 more. It's a mental thing where we say, ooh, there's discomfort. Ooh, it burns. I'm going to stop. Ooh, I knew I was going to go to 15, but it's burning at 12. So I'm not going to do those last 3. And we stop. We always have more to give than we know. And one of the stories that reminds me of this concept it was an experiment. I forget at which college this experiment was done, but it was done on lab mice, and it was lab mice that were treading water, and they were placed in this. Gosh, I just forgot what it was called, but a glass tube. Scientifically, I think it's called like a beaker or something. But they were placed in this beaker in which there was water, and they were treading water in this beaker. And at about 15 minutes, the mouse would give up and they'd sink to the bottom. And obviously, if you sink to the bottom and you're a creature that breathes air, you're going to drown. And so what would happen is the scientists would dump over the beaker, basically save the mouse. And then they put the mouse back in. I think they gave the mouse like 5 to 10 minutes of rest, put the mouse back in. And one would think, hey, you've already tread water for about 15 minutes. You're probably already a little tired from that first stint of treading water. But we're going to go ahead and assume that they would have less time of treading water, maybe 10 minutes instead of 15 minutes this time. The mice were able to tread water for over an hour. Now, how is it that 1 minute you can only tread water for 15 minutes and the next minute, 10 minutes later, you can tread water for an hour? Now, that's psychology about a mouse that says, hey, if I just tread water long enough, somebody will come and save me. But how can we apply that to us when we know that we have more to give? Like going away from the tool where we have more to give than we know. Once we know we have more to give, don't quit. Don't cut yourself short. Don't stop your process because things are getting difficult, because things are getting uncomfortable, because things are not going the way you've seen them going in the step that you're on. Really, it's about being able to tap into that unknown energy, that unknown grit that I honestly believe that we all have. We just have to learn how to unlock it. That mechanism or mentality that's in each and every one of us that allows us to continue to push forward, to continue to push on, to continue to push in when we feel like we have nothing left. So that's tool number 3. We have more to give than we know. We just have to figure out how to unlock it for ourselves. So those are the 3 tools that I have for you this evening. I really quickly want to go over them again. The first tool is we cannot see until we arrive. Again, in this tool, this is a matter of once we're at the top, we see what comes next. But if we spend all of our time on the wrong side of the mountain, imagining about what comes next, we're not focused on the steps that we're making. We may not even recognize if we're sliding back down the mountain. Tool number 2 is expect abundance. Again, this is a twofold tool. There is an abundance of demand, but also with that abundance of demand comes an abundance of resources. Lean on the culture, lean on the people, lean on the tribe that you have around you to help you with gathering or help you with acting with that abundance. And then tool number 3 is we have more to give than we know. Be willing to exceed your previously conceived limitations. Unlock your potential, like your actionable potential, what you can actually do unlock it, and tap into it. Do not quit until you cannot go any further. Not when you think you can't go any further, when you absolutely cannot go any further. So with that, with the Wednesday Word, I always like to share a personal story, something that kind of got me thinking about this topic. And I actually had one story that I was thinking, and then today totally shifted that story to a new story that I wanted to bring to the light. So for me in this journey of There's Always More, as many of you may know, I have recently written a book. It is actually scheduled to come out it starts shipping on Monday. I've actually started shipping a little early just to kind of get ahead of the curve. But it's going to officially start shipping on Monday. And I remember when I first set out to start writing this book, I thought, you know what? All I got to do is write the book. Get this book into the world. I've done my part. The rest is not my responsibility. Well, in the infinite wisdom of Billy, which is not much, but in the infinite wisdom of Billy, I get to the top of this mountain and the book is done. Ta-da, the book is done. But now I can see the landscape from the vantage point that I'm at now. And it went from, okay, the book is complete. All right. Oh, you know what? Now that the book's complete and the exercises are in the book, I want to write a journal. That was unexpected. It's an unexpected, but it's an expected abundance of demand. Oh, now that I have the journal done, I need to meet with the publishing company. Now I need to get the publishing done. Oh, now I need to do the editing. There were so many demands after what I initially thought was, I just got to lift this book to the point of where it's done. Great, it's done. I'm done. Somebody else can take it away. Well, that was not the case. Again, there were so many demands that I just did not account for. But today, I did a post on social media saying or showing that, not saying that I was on Amazon's new release, I think it was new and upcoming hot releases on Amazon. And I was ranked number 37. And it got me to thinking about how did I get there? And I know, like, without a shadow of a doubt, that I did not get there myself. This is not something that I would be able to do in and of myself. And that's where I begin to really resonate with an abundance of gratitude because of the abundance of resources that were available to me from the people in my tribe who love and care about me, who support me, who rock with me, even when I sometimes feel like I doubt that I want to rock with myself. So there was this abundance of love shown to me that elevated this book, that all I thought I had to do was write the book, remember? And then there was this abundance of demands. And then I had to push my release date back and all these things. And I'm sure there's probably still more abundant demands that are waiting for me. But now the fact that I know that there's this abundance of demands, I'm a little less emotionally deterred or a little less emotionally shaken when these demands come to the surface. And also on top of that, to see the response from people that you love and you care about show that they love and they care about you and that they're really, truly supporting your project. It is, and it's not even just a project, supporting your passion. It is beyond empowering and it is beyond encouraging to experience that. And every time, like, I felt like I had pushed myself to the limit, there was somebody who was in my corner saying, okay, Billy, this is what you got to do next. Every time I got to the top of a new mountain and it was like, man, come on. Like, even when I was in the home stretch, it was like, cool, book will be released on February 15th. And then I got to the top of that mountain and it was like, oh, the distributor is having challenges to meet that date. You got to push your book back. Gosh, there's another demand. But there was another resource that was available to me to push me forward. And that's really what There's Always More is about. It's about accepting that abundance, embracing that abundance, and getting out of a cycle of trying to be in control of things that are outside of your control. There's always going to be more. Sometimes the more will be good. Sometimes the more will be bad. Sometimes the more will just be more work. Sometimes you'll get to a location and be like, oh man, this isn't even the right mountain. And you have to turn and go back down and go up the right mountain that you can see from that point. All of that is okay. All of that is a part of the process. All of that is a part of the journey. But I just want to really encourage you guys that if there's something that you want to do in life, if there's a journey that you're on currently in life, don't give up. Get to the top of that mountain, survey the scene, and keep pushing, keep thriving. So that's what I have for you today. Brother Bruce, I appreciate you tuning in live. Robert, what's going on? I appreciate you tuning in live. I'm learning that I have to bring in these chats. So Brother Bruce puts the heart in the flex muscles. And then I show Robert, you're here. Love it. Unlock your potential. Absolutely. Unlock your potential. Push through to the unknown and really, truly give up when you have to give up, not any other time before then. But other than that, I just want to let you guys know that we do have in the next week is when the book will be releasing. It's out. Like, I'm already signing books. I had to sign like 200 books last night. My hand's a little tired, but I just try to do it in sessions because there's so many books to sign. But I want to make sure I sign each and every book and get it out to the people who have supported my passion and my love for writing. But don't forget, you can pre-order your copy of Fire Your Job, Hire Your Passion on the First Row. It's exclusively on First Row. You can actually, I've seen that you can order on Amazon and Walmart and a couple other places today while I was doing some searching. But I always prefer that you order it on First Row because then I can sign the book. If it's ordered through Amazon or Walmart or anything like that, I don't see that book physically, so I can't sign that book before it gets to you. But every book that's ordered on First Row is signed before it is sent to you. But Sunday will be the last day that I'll be accepting pre-orders on this book at midnight on Sunday, I guess, which is technically Monday. I will not be accepting pre-orders any longer. And all the promotional codes that I have created will cease to work. They will expire. But that's what I got for you guys. And then the next Wednesday word, because next week is the book release week, I don't want to slack or miss my opportunity to be here on the Wednesday word for you guys. So I'm actually going to do a Wednesday word premiere, which is a pre-recorded Wednesday word. That topic is going to be get in position. Can't wait for you guys to hear that topic. I actually will sit on that topic live when it premieres. You're welcome to engage with me in the chat, in the live chat. You're welcome to engage with me in the comments. So that will be next Wednesday, the 2nd of March. Can't believe that we're already in March, but the 2nd of March, that Wednesday word premiere, pre-recorded, will be available at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me in the live. Brother Bruce, absolutely. I appreciate tonight's message. You don't understand. I appreciate the messages that you guys drive me to create because they minister. I'm going to use the word minister. They minister to me as much as I feel like you guys say they minister to you. Going to keep it going. And then yes, LinkedIn user. I'm welcome because this is the first time LinkedIn has got this live content. But as always, if you like this video, please share it. If you share this video, like it. I'm always happy to engage with you guys in the chat. Thank you for engaging in the live chat this evening, but I'm also happy to engage with you in the comments for the first 7 days that the content is up. But until then, until the next time, one love, peace, and God bless. Thanks for sitting on the first row.